Now, teaching the history of the Holocaust requires a high level of sensitivity and keen devotion to the important task. One of the last standing Holocaust survivors living in Israel made it his life project to pass the memory of the tragedy to future generations. Our Sarah Shalala caught up with him one-on-one to hear his special story.
It's not just A to B to C to D history. Teaching the Holocaust to the next generation might just require a little more effort. It might be through teachers thinking outside the box to be the keepers of this story. It might be through museums upgrading their technology to create the virtual future of Holocaust education. Or it might be through honest conversations like these, at least for a little while more. So you were a Holocaust survivor and then up until the age of 9 with no education, correct?
That's right.
And then you ended up president at this college, at Gordon College.
Yes, and I want to see that we will teach the children the most advanced methods. We can, with these balloons, have all kind of simulation, of course, and a very effective way how the Holocaust should be taught in a different way. And this is a good example.
For decades, Professor Yecheskel Taller, who's 85 years old today, has been sharing his eyewitness survivor testimony in educational settings.
The first time I started to talk about Holocaust when my mother passed away, it was in 2000. I thought that, it's my duty to do it and I can't cover it anymore.
Yecheskel's story begins in 1941 when the Germans occupied his hometown of Ternopil, which was in Poland then and Ukraine today.
Our trouble started because we have to hide and run away from the Nazis, from the Germans. I was the problem. Wherever we went, my name was Jan Kwiatkowski, which is a typical Polish name, and we have false papers. I was hidden in a cellar by a Polish family, from 5 to 6.5 approximately.
Yecheskel would then spend half a year from the age of 6.5 to 7 with his sister and his mother, who was working undercover as an aide to a German family who was part of the Nazi party during the war. When the war ended, Yecheskel and his family left Krakow in 1945 and reached Israel in 1947. Reflecting on the Holocaust today, Yecheskel says we must put a greater focus on Holocaust education in our schools globally.
The lived memory is much better if you can talk to the person, you can ask questions. What will be in 20 years from now, when there won't be any survivors? Then we as a teacher college and others have to develop new ideas how to transfer this tragedy to the world. Otherwise, it will become another date in history. And I'm worried about that.
While Jerusalem has Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum, Yecheskel says other Israeli cities aren't doing enough.
I think that any city has to have a Holocaust museum and show it from a different perspective. Haifa has relatively many Holocaust survivors, but there's nothing here that you can show it. And something should be done for the next generations.
And as the president of one of the most tech-savvy colleges of Israel, it's about one fundamental thing.
What should be done to be relevant? We have to use the most advanced ways of teaching, technopedagogy, augmented reality, beautiful learning and experience that you feel you are inside the event.
New approaches for a new generation. Sarah Shalala, i24NEWS, Israel.